flight mode 1.
Hey guys, NJ here. Hope you're all doing really well. I have got back into flying RC helicopters after what I guess is about a 6-year break, and quite honestly, this is the guy that's done it. This is the OMP Hobby M2 Explore. The M2's been around a little while now. It caught my eye a couple of years ago when the first version came out. This is a few versions on now, but like a lot of micro helicopters that caught my eye, I was being very cautious not to jump on the hype train, because I've had lots and lots of helicopters over the years, and many of the small ones have all promised the world and often just not delivered. I've always had a fairly long wish list for micro helicopters, being that perfect kind of sim replacement, cheap to repair, super crash worthy, great flight time. You just can't have all these things at once, and every micro I've ever had has only ever managed one or two on that, the extensive list of wishes that I have for micro helicopters. And yeah, this guy absolutely smashes it out of the park in all these categories. The flight performance of this thing is incredible. The price for what you get is incredible. It is crash durable, and I've actually crashed it. We're going to take a look at some flight footage after this talk, so you can see. Bear with me, I'm a little rusty. As I said, I'm only sort of getting back into it. But yeah, the flight performance is, I mean, this flies several classes above its size. It's almost, I was almost dumbfounded. I actually burst out laughing the first time I put this thing in the sky, because I couldn't believe it handled the way it did. It's precise. The tail performance is absolutely unparalleled at this class size. I mean, there just isn't anything that holds the tail as well as the M2. In fact, there is only one other helicopter which I don't have, but I know, and that's the M1. That's the smaller version of this. So yeah, OMP Hobby have just done some absolutely magical things here. I have crashed this. Now, I hate crashing, mainly because every decent sized helicopter I have, when you crash them, RC helicopters are damn expensive to replace parts for. I mean, you can crash, and quite often you're in the hundreds with the bigger helicopters to repair the thing. So, you know, crashing something, I would always train on the sim to avoid, and do my best to avoid at all cost. This guy, I have crashed probably 4 or 5 times now, and you're looking at the helicopter as it is, having been crashed that many times.
Armed. Disarmed.
Not the switch to pull.
Throttle hold. Disarmed.
Nailed it.
Throttle hold.
And I can tell you now, everything is perfect. No bent main shaft, no bent feathering shaft, no broken parts. It's been absolutely perfect. This particular version, the Explore, doesn't actually come with metal blade grips. The other parts are as it is stock. It's just these grips aren't. I upgraded these just. I think the standard material for these on the Explore version are a carbon reinforced plastic. They're perfect. There's no need to change to the metal ones at all. I did it just because I thought if anything would change the flight precision, maybe by a tiny bit, maybe it would be these. So I thought I'll chuck them on as they're so cheap anyway. And I can tell you it makes no difference to the flight. This is just a fantastic flying model. The ESC flybarless unit, it's all integrated into one. It's even got its own integrated receiver. I can actually pop the canopy off and show you some of this. There's our flight controller. So this houses the two ESCs, the one for the main motor, the one for the tail, and then all the settings. Very similar to a Beast-X, this, where you have all the lights on the top and you go through the settings with a push button and using the control stick to select things up and down. And you can do all the important stuff like servo centering, adjusting the agility or the feed forward of the aircraft, the rates, the roll rate, degrees per second. You can adjust everything that you would want: throttle curves, pitch curves if you're using a separate receiver. It's got a plug here for S-Bus, one for Spectrum, and then it's got its own internal OMP protocol one if you want to bind up to their cheapy controller, or use the TX16 because that now supports the OMP protocol. But if you're using their internal protocol, you can't change the pitch and throttle curves. They are what they are. The side frames are kind of sectioned, so if you were to break just one part, this is a side lower plate, very easy to swap out. It's nothing worse than having a helicopter where you break like a tiny bit down the side, the whole side frame has got to come off, and that usually means taking all the parts off. This, you just take apart the section that you need. It's like in 3 sections here. So rigid in how it's put together as well. The battery, one comes with it in the kit. You just pull out here. It comes with this little mounting plate. There's also 3D printable versions of these, which is what I've done. I bought a bunch of spare batteries and 3D printed this plate. And that just allows you to slide that into, you see it's got this little latch mechanism here, so that goes in like that, locks into place. Absolutely brilliant design. What else can I say? So it's a 120 degree servo mix. You can see the servos are actually metal gear. Again, real bonus at this size, because metal gear servos just don't strip. Plastic gear servos do, in a crash that is. And what they've done here, which is really quite a great idea, is that if you crash and there's a lot of force that does come down here during a hard crash, the servo arms will break. And they give you spare servo arms in the kit. They even give you a spare main shaft and feathering shaft and a load of screws, stuff that you just generally don't get, stuff that helicopter companies will usually just charge you because they make a lot of money on spares. They give you a great selection of spares in the kit, and everything, all these parts are so cheap on this helicopter. I think the average crash cost of this thing's about 20 bucks. It's nuts, it really is. Hardly costs anything to maintain this. You can fly it like you stole it, you know. It's as I said, a genuine simulator replacement, because you can go out and actually be flying out in the real world, not be scared of crashing, for 2 reasons. One, because of the aforementioned. The second, because it's possible to program a rescue mode into this. This has a level mode, which, angle mode to us quad pilots, which stops you over tilting it. It will lock at about 40-50 degrees, and then when you let go of the stick, it will right itself again. Great for beginners. Run that at a low RPM, put that on, you'll get like 8 minutes of hovering, loads of time to practice, and the stability mode, so you can really take your time learning and have a holding hand. When you get to that kind of mid-level where you're starting to learn 3D, that can be programmed into a rescue mode. One of the really clever guys, Jonas over at AccuraRC, the helicopter flight simulator software, Jonas has programmed a bunch of logical switches up and made a really clever rescue setup where it makes use of this level, this leveling on a switch. And what it does is, if you're upside down with the helicopter, what it does is zero the pitch out and turn the leveling mode on. So the zero pitch means it won't climb or descend. It'll probably fall just a tiny bit, maybe a foot, and it will right itself very quickly. 0.3 seconds later, that will then go to a positive collective to climb. So you get this excellent rescue switch that you can put on a momentary switch. And yeah, you can. I think that it's Buddy RC's channel where Jonas talks about that setup and talks you through how to do it. And I believe you can even download Jonas's model file. So yeah, having a rescue switch is great for beginners, but also for people learning 3D, because there's plenty of times I've used it, certainly in relearning a lot of the stuff that I used to be able to do. Things like pyro flips, I'd mess one up, it's going in towards the deck, I've lost orientation, hold the rescue switch, rights itself and climbs, let go of the rescue switch on momentary, and carry on flying. So it's got again, with things like the Mikado V-Bar, you want the rescue feature, you've got to pay $79 to unlock it. It's ridiculous. You can get it for free on this helicopter. Price point, here in the UK, I think it roughly translates to the dollar value as well. So it's about 245 is the cheapest I've seen it. That's over on Amazon, and I'll leave links to this. I've got affiliate links I'll leave if you fancy picking one up after seeing this video and seeing how it flies. And my God, if ever I could put my word on something and tell you your money is safely spent on something that will give you so many smiles, it's this. It really is. If you know my channel at all, you know I just don't say stuff like that. But this really is just such incredible value for money and so much fun. Batteries are like £12-13 each, so you can, and when you get, you know, anywhere from, you know, if you're a super hard smack 3D high RPMer, 3.5 minutes maybe is probably what you'll get. If you 3D like I do, 6 minutes. If you're learning, 8 minutes. I mean, it's just brilliant for that. That's such value. You can just buy a bunch of batteries for almost nothing. So yeah, crash resistance, brilliant. Flight dynamics, brilliant. How it programs, brilliant. Tail performance, brilliant. Cost of replacing parts, brilliant. It just is an absolute smash it out the park win. OMP Hobby M2 Explore. There is also the Pro version with more metal, more cosmetic niceties like matching canopy coloured anodizing on the motors and plates and metal cases for the servos instead of plastic. I mean, that stuff just doesn't bother me. They're both Metal Gear servo. They're the same servos, just one has a metal case, one has a plastic case. If you want to buy stuff with the extra bling, it's gonna cost you like an extra £50 or $50 for that. But you know, of course, they're also excellent. But yeah, fantastic helicopter. Have a look at the flight footage, see what you think. And yeah, after all those crashes, nothing broken, not a single thing wrong with this. Just incredible. Anyway, enjoy. Hope to catch you guys again soon. Take care. Okay.
5 minutes. Flight mode 2. Minutes. minutes. One minute. Flight mode 1. Timer 1 up. Disarmed.
Absolutely awesome.